Now, there is another important event that we have, or aspect that we have to look at, is the Rome-Berlin axis. The Rome-Berlin axis, and this will lead us to why we will call it something the Axis powers, or a group of people who term the Axis powers at World War II. This is where the name Axis came from. It was a coalition formed in 1936 between fascist Italy and Nazi Germany in October 25, 1936. So basically, it is a coalition, or it is an association between Germany and what? And Italy. Now remember, Germany and Britain have been into a coalition or an agreement. That's what we just talked about, the Anglo-German Navy Treaty, right? And this time, in just 2 years, that one was 1934, right? Or 1935? That was 1935. Okay. And just a year afterwards, in 1936, they are having the Rome-Berlin Axis Agreement. The term Axis was first applied to the Italo-German relationship by Italian Prime Minister Benito Mussolini in September 1923. It is a significant event in the lead up to the World War II, and was part of a series of diplomatic efforts by Germany, Italy, and later Japan came to join the Rome-Berlin Axis to secure their own expansionist interests. What do we mean by expansionist interest? We know that Hitler, by 1936, was engaged in a number of policies that we'll be looking at, a number of foreign policies that had made him to take certain attempts that were against the Treaty of Versailles. And one of his aims was to expand the German territory, right? We know that of Italy. Italy attacking Abyssinia. Italy saying that I want to create an empire, a Roman empire. I want to recreate the Roman empire. And Abyssinia, you remember the Abyssinian crisis? And Abyssinia is one of the places that I need to attack in order to conform or to form my Roman empire. And we know of Japan. Japan is now in Asia. Japan is the big boy in Asia. And as the big boy in Asia, is also taking over Manchuria. You remember the Manchuria crisis? It's also taking over Manchuria and doing other things that are all in endless persuasion for expansionism, to expand their territories. And so they come together in what we call the Rome-Berlin Axis in order to protect each other, to serve as. So in this agreement, if any country is attacking Italy, Germany and Japan would come to the aid of Italy. And if Japan is attacked, Germany and Japan would come together to protect from Italy. Okay. So you see that gradually they are building coalitions, associations. And this is what this man was talking against Roosevelt. This is what Roosevelt was trying to, Wilson was trying to prevent after the First World War, and that's why he captured in his 14 points that such associations should be what? Abolished. Because if you form such associations, that means these three people can come together against another person and cause a what? Another war. And that is the genesis of World War I. the coming together of different countries on one side against another on the other side. Do you understand?
Wait, so how much?
Yes, that's the question.
Also, it's 14 points. Did he like explain that that was the reason why he didn't want, like, he wanted all like plans between the countries to be abolished? Like, did he explain that that was the reason why?
Yes.
And they still didn't allow it to happen.
No.
I don't think it does that it didn't happen. Because I feel like because we had everything. So then at that point that wouldn't be able to happen.
And remember, Clemenceau came out to say that even God has 10 commandments, how much more you Wilson? You Wilson, you have 14. Why? Are you more than God? That's what he meant. He said even God has 10, and you Wilson have 14. So that means you Wilson, you are trying to be more than God. Okay. Anti-combatant pact. The anti-combatant pact. It was an agreement between Nazi Germany and the Empire of Japan, signed on November 25, 1936, and directed at Communist International. Italy later joined the pact in 1937. Now, anti-combatant pact, you see, the USSR and other Eastern European countries developed what we call the Comité. The Comité was just an association. It's just an association for countries that believe in communism. So, if other countries are signing anti-combatant pacts, what comes into mind? The Comité is an association for countries who are interested or who hold communism as very important. So they form an association called Comité. And another 3 countries also come together to form what we call anti-combatant pact. What do you think those in anti-combatant pact will be doing? Yes, anti-combatant. That means they are against the idea of what? Communism. Very well. The purpose of the anti-combatant pact. The pact aimed to counter the influence and activities of Communist International, which was seen as a threat by the signatory countries. The signatory countries remain those who came to form Comité. Those in the anti-combatant pact are seeing those in Comité as what? As a threat. Do we understand? Okay. The signatories, the original signatories of the anti-combatant pact were Nazi Germany, the Empire of Japan, and Italy later joined in 1937. Who are some of the key people that? So if it is basically between Germany, Japan, and Italy, who do you think would be the people involved? The people involved, who do you think would be the people? I'm saying that the countries involved are Germany, Japan, and Italy. And this is 1937. So which leaders do you think will be involved? Yes. Benito. For who? Benito be for who? Italy. Hitler for Germany. Japan, you go to.
Japan,
I've not taught you anything.
No,
Yes, King Tomo Musano. The pact was significant for its symbolism as it brought together 2 militaristic and expansionist powers. Yes, these guys were very militaristic. Everything they want to use by force to do it. Hitler wants to use force to achieve everything he wanted. And he was also interested in expanding. That was the same thing for Italy.
They all wanted to.
And Italy was also military. Italy was, so you see, what we have to understand is that these leaders were under what we call dictators. And these dictators were, every dictator is militaristic in what? In nature. Do you understand? Most dictators are militaristic in nature. So the pact was significant for its symbolism as it brought together militaristic and expansionist powers. Yes.
All these people were together. Like they all wanted to like expand and everything, but then all of them want to rule the world on their own. So what would have happened if they all like succeeded in taking over? Then would they fight each other?
Not necessarily. They wanted specific parts. Like, for example, how Japan wanted Manchuria and Italy wanted Abyssinia. And then, as for Hitler,
That's all wanted to do.
yeah, but then they would have come to a compromise as to where and where they would take. Let's say, for example, Japan would take over Asia, Italy would take over, let's say, maybe Africa or something. Then Hitler would take over, like.
Europe.
No, I'm trying to say. So you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Like that each of them will take it somewhere.
Who will take what? America. You
I didn't
remember?
think of America.
No. America, we have already said, we're what? Practicing what we call isolationism.
Oh yeah, America wasn't part of it. America was
America,
the picture.
they were already there as a related power.
So at this time, America was isolated. They were not interested in European matters.
I mean, if you try to warn them and they didn't listen.
No, it's not like trying to wonder. I understand America. Germany is big and they have lots of power. They have like power to start an entire war. Why would America want to involve themselves in that and them to look at it? It's like when your mother is beating, how would you feel protection when you get against it?
Okay. The impact of anti-committant pact was more important The impact of the anti-committant pact was more important for its symbolism than its actual provisions. It demonstrated the alignment of Germany and Japan against the Soviet Union and communism. I'm talking about the impact. I said it demonstrated the alignment of Germany and Japan. It showed how Germany and Japan were against communism. That's what it means.
Is the Soviet Union Russia?
No. Soviet Union is the same as USSR, but the capital is Russia. Then the Axis Alliance. The Anti-Committant Act laid the foundation for later the formation of the Axis powers or the Axis Alliance. And that's what we see in World War II. In World War II, you have the Allied powers and the Axis powers. But in World War I, we have the Allied powers and the Central.
So that what happened to the Central powers?
So
Did they like split and then some went to Axis and some went to Allied?
no, the Central powers broke down. Some joined the Allied powers, and some reformed. Some left the Allied powers, the original Allied powers. Some of them also left to come and join the Axis powers. So it was a mix-up. You will get the you will explain it. It is worth noting that the Anti-Committant Pact was renounced by Japan in 1939 following the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. It was renounced by Japan in 1939 following the German-Soviet Non-Aggression very soon. Any questions so far? Okay, then let's watch this video.